Why do so many men fail to truly satisfy their partners? You might think you already know what she wants, but the truth is, most women in America report they're not fully satisfied in the bedroom, even in marriages that look perfect on the outside. I'm Dr. Amelia Hayes, urologist. For over 20 years, I've listened to men and women share their deepest frustrations. And today, I'll reveal 7 simple, science-backed secrets that can completely change your intimacy. Secrets that can help you bring back her smile, her touch, her desire. And the most important secret, the one that can save a marriage, comes at the very end. Don't miss it. And remember, if you have personal questions about your own health, leave them in the comments below. I'll be reading and I'll answer as many as I can. In my clinic, I often hear men over 60 say things like, "We sleep in the same bed, doctor, but it feels like 2 different worlds." The truth is, this story is far more common than most of us admit. Years of working, raising kids, health challenges, and stress can slowly chip away at intimacy. You may still love your wife deeply, but the spark in the bedroom feels dim or gone. Now here's the part many men don't realize. Just because your wife may not desire sex the same way she did in her 30s, that doesn't mean she no longer craves closeness. For women in America, especially after menopause, hormones shift. Bodies change. Energy feels different. But the emotional need to feel wanted, to feel touched, to feel loved never disappears. Too often, men interpret her silence as rejection. She just doesn't want it anymore. But that belief is both painful and false. What's really happening is more complicated, more human. She may need more time. She may need a different kind of approach. Or she may simply need you to show that her pleasure matters as much as yours. And here's the good news. Once men understand this, they often tell me, "Doctor, it felt like I gave her back a part of herself she thought was lost." That moment of rediscovery can turn a marriage around. So before we dive into the 7 secrets, I want you to remember this. Your partner is not broken. She hasn't lost her ability to feel joy. She just needs you to meet her where she is today, not where she was 20 years ago. If you do that, the connection you thought was gone can come back stronger than ever. One of the simplest, yet most powerful secrets is scheduling intimacy. Yes, you heard that right. Putting it on the calendar. Think back to when you were young. Remember how you looked forward to Friday night dates? The anticipation, the excitement, the secret smile you carried all day knowing what might happen later. That anticipation wasn't an accident, it was fuel. And it's the very thing many couples lose after years of living together. In my office, I once counseled a couple from Ohio. They'd been married 40 years. The husband told me, "Doctor, it feels like intimacy just disappeared." The wife admitted she often felt pressured, never knowing when he would reach for her. It created stress instead of desire. My advice was simple: pick a time together. Make it their Sunday afternoon delight. 3 months later, they came back smiling. Scheduling sex didn't kill the romance, it saved it. Why? Because it gave both of them something to look forward to. It removed the daily pressure of guessing. And it turned intimacy into a shared promise, not a burden. There's real science here, too. Anticipation releases dopamine, the same brain chemical that makes vacations exciting or a favorite meal taste better. By putting intimacy on the calendar, you give her mind and body a chance to prepare, to get excited. So men, don't leave intimacy to chance. Treat it like you would exercise or a doctor's appointment. Protect that time. Value it. Say to your partner, "I want us to make this special. How about Sunday afternoon, just for us?" You'll be surprised how much that one act of planning can reignite passion. Here's where most men get it wrong. For decades, sex education skipped over the most important organ of female pleasure, the clitoris. Think about this. For men, the penis is the main center of sexual sensation. For women, it's the clitoris, not the uterus, not the ovaries, and not even the vagina itself. The clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings, double the number in the penis. Yet many men never learned this in school. I once had a patient, a 72-year-old retired teacher. He said, "Doctor, I spent my whole life believing penetration was enough. My wife never corrected me, she just stayed quiet. When I explained the role of the clitoris, He looked stunned. A month later, he came back with tears in his eyes. For the first time in decades, I saw her cry from joy, not frustration. Here's the reality. Only about 20% of women can reach orgasm through penetration alone. The vast majority need clitoral stimulation, direct or indirect. That's why focusing only on penetration often leaves her unsatisfied. And when she isn't enjoying intimacy, she's far less likely to want it again. So here's the third secret. Make her orgasm your priority. This isn't about ego or proving yourself. It's about giving her the experience she deserves. And when she feels cherished, when she feels desired, something powerful happens. She naturally wants to give back. The energy flows both ways. And don't be afraid to use more than just your body. Hands, lips, even modern tools like vibrators can be incredible allies. As I often say to my patients, if technology can make a car safer or your phone smarter, why not let it improve intimacy too? Real men aren't afraid of making sure their partners feel good. So remember, it's not about rushing to your own finish line. It's about slowing down and making her journey beautiful. When you do that, you'll notice something amazing. Her pleasure becomes yours too. Here's a hard truth most men don't want to hear. On average, a man reaches orgasm in 3 to 5 minutes. A woman? 30 to 50 minutes. That's not a small gap, it's a canyon. And if you expect her body to follow your timeline, both of you will end up disappointed. But instead of seeing this as a problem, I want you to see it as a gift. How lucky are women to have the ability to enjoy such long, slow waves of pleasure? The secret is learning to appreciate that difference, not fight it. One man in Texas told me, "Doctor, I never realized foreplay was the main event." For him, sex had always started and ended with penetration. When he finally slowed down, stroking her skin, kissing her neck, exploring her body, his wife told him it felt like she was in her 20s again. This brings me to the real point. We need to expand the definition of sex. Too often, our culture teaches that sex starts when the penis enters the vagina and ends when the man finishes. That's not intimacy, that's a transaction. True intimacy is every touch, every kiss, every moment of connection. Penetration is just one small part of it. So, slow down. Treat intimacy like fine dining, not fast food. You don't rush through a steak dinner, you savor it, one bite at a time. Do the same in the bedroom. Let her body catch up. Explore without hurry. Build tension. Because when you finally do come together, the reward will be deeper, more powerful, and unforgettable. And for men worried about finishing too quickly, know this. You don't have to rely on penetration to keep her satisfied. Use your hands. Use your mouth. Use patience. If you make her feel like the center of your world, she'll never forget it. Let me clear up one of the biggest myths men still believe. Her wetness has nothing to do with how much she loves you or how much she's turned on. I see this all the time in my clinic. A man in his late 60s once told me, "Doctor, I thought if she wasn't wet, it meant I failed." His wife looked down, embarrassed, because she wanted intimacy, but always felt pain. The truth? After menopause, estrogen levels drop, and the tissues become more dry and sensitive. It's biology, not a lack of desire. And that's where lubricant comes in. Lube isn't cheating. It isn't a sign of weakness. It's a tool, like reading glasses, hearing aids, or even comfortable shoes. We use these things to make life better. So why not use lube to make intimacy better? There are different kinds. Water-based lubes are simple, easy to clean, perfect for beginners. Silicone lubes last longer, especially helpful for women after menopause. There are even hybrid blends and playful options, warming, cooling, flavored. But here's the key. Use them liberally. Reapply if needed. Think of it as making the road smooth before you take the drive. And the benefits? Research shows couples who use lubricant report more pleasure, less pain, and more orgasms. That's not opinion, that's science. In fact, one of my patients, a 70-year-old woman from Florida, told me, "Doctor, using lube gave me back the intimacy I thought I'd lost forever." Her husband smiled and said, "And it gave me my wife back." So men, stop being shy. Real strength isn't about avoiding help. It's about doing what works. If a small bottle of lubricant can bring your wife comfort and joy, why wouldn't you use it? Here's another truth most couples face, but rarely talk about: desire mismatch. One partner wants sex more often, the other wants it less. In many marriages, it's the man who wants more and the woman who wants less. But not always. And listen carefully, it doesn't mean either of you is broken. It just means you're different. Think about it this way. You like Cheerios. She prefers oatmeal. Different tastes. Neither one is wrong. The same is true for intimacy. The key isn't to argue about who's right. It's to find the middle ground where both of you feel satisfied. But how do you do that? The answer is communication. And I don't mean during the act, when both of you are vulnerable. I mean outside the bedroom. Over coffee, during a walk, or even in the car. That's when you can say, I feel like I want more intimacy, instead of, you never want sex. One opens a door. The other slams it shut. I once counseled a couple from Chicago. He told me, every time I brought it up, it turned into a fight. His wife admitted she felt blamed, even when she loved him deeply. When I taught them to switch the language using I feel instead of you don't, something shifted. They began to listen, not defend. And slowly, their intimacy returned. If the gap feels too wide, don't hesitate to seek help. A urologist can help with medical issues. A certified sex therapist can guide the conversation. These professionals exist because desire mismatch is normal, not shameful. And here's the most important thing: communication builds intimacy in itself. Just talking honestly, without judgment, can make your partner feel closer to you, even before you touch. Because in the end, intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about being seen, heard, and valued. So remember, desire mismatch isn't the enemy. Silence is. The couples who last are not the ones who never disagree, but the ones who learn how to talk and keep talking. We've walked through 7 powerful secrets: scheduling intimacy, understanding her anatomy, prioritizing her orgasm, slowing down, using lube, addressing desire mismatch, and building honest communication. Each one has the power to transform your relationship. But here's the most important secret of all. It's not a trick, not a technique, not a product. It's consistency, care, attention. The daily choice to show your partner that she matters, that she is desired, that even after 60, 70, or 80 years of life, you still see her and you still want her. I often tell my patients this: passion doesn't retire. It only fades when we stop nurturing it. The men who keep their marriages alive are the ones with the best techniques. They're the ones who never stop trying. So as you go back to your own life, I challenge you. Take one of these secrets, just one, and put it into action this week. See how she reacts. Watch her smile. Feel the closeness return. Then build from there. Step by step, you'll see the spark reignite. And if you have questions about intimacy, health, or anything you're struggling with, leave a comment below. I read them. I'll do my best to answer, because you deserve clarity and support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Not just for me, but because the more men hear this message, the more relationships can heal. So remember, at 60, 70, even 80, love is not over. Desire is not gone. And intimacy is not finished. With the right care, the best years may still be ahead. Because in the end, the real secret isn't in the bedroom, it's in the heart.